At Michael Murphy Sports and Leisure, we cater for everyone, from top sporting athletes to relaxed casual sporting individuals and everyone in between. We also provide a large range of teamwear services and cater for schools and clubs. Orders can be customised to your specification to suit your individual needs. From clothing to equipment, we've got you covered.
Championship game here in Donegal, and it's the home team Ardara facing off against the men from Twin Towns, Sean McCool's. And this is one game. I looked at the games, the fixtures coming up. There's 4 very interesting fixtures. This is definitely a game I wanted to be at, and I was glad I got the shout along with Martin McHugh here on CoCom. Martin, looking forward to this match. Pitch is set. Beautiful scene down here, great ground here at Pearse Memorial Park.
Yeah, perfect conditions, and we have to thank the groundsman here, Cumhaills. I know Cumhaills a long time, and he was down here morning, noon and night, and you can see the way how great a shape the pitch is in here. So, and it's perfect conditions. We have no breeze or anything else. It's a lovely evening for football, and really looking forward to it, because Ardara have really been going well this year. They're very unlucky to lose to Niamh Connell, and they had a very, very good one in the first round. So, and you know, McCool's, of course, with the fact that Oisín Gallen's back and everything else and having him playing, can that be the difference? And how will the likes of C.J. Malloy and Carl Joseph Malloy, you know, on the Fulfurley on the other end? So yeah, really looking forward to this battle. I think there's not a lot between these two teams. I know McCool's are favourites going to the match. Probably that's because of the Oisín Gallen factor, but home advantage is always a big advantage, Brendan, in championship games.
Yeah, and particularly if you lose last game out, and you made reference to it there. Obviously McCool's won in their first game away to St Michael's. They drew with Glenswilly. In both games, Martin, they had big leads which were cut down late, you know, with 10 minutes to go against Glenswilly. They were 6 points up. They were reeled back in. They ended up being a draw, and St Michael's came back at them late. So is that why the bookies are thinking the form guide is kind of with them in terms of those two performances? But as you said, our draw, a very convincing one against a real opening round, and in many people's eyes maybe could have beaten Niamh Connell last week. So, you know, Damien Devaney doing a great job there, Martin. He came in 2020 along with Adrian Brennan, and he's taken the team himself this last 3 seasons, and that continuity, you know, is paying off for Ardara. And both teams, you said, Martin, have added a lot to the championship so far this summer.
Yeah, exactly, Brendan. And I think we look at Ardara, you know, that even though they lost to Niamh Connell in the end, I think it was Brick Malloy kicked a massive 2-pointer at the end of the match. It'll give them massive confidence, because down through the years they've been well beaten by their neighbours, Niamh Connell, and you know, that would knock the stuff on them, as they say, going forward. But here they're coming into this match on the back of, all right, they were beat by a point, but they had a big performance, and you can see with a big crowd here, and a very big Ardara crowd here. You even see big Frank Malloy and Connie Malloy home from America, and also there's a big Ardara following here and everything. So from their point of view, you know, they have the great support behind them. If they get on top here, it'll make a difference. But you're right, when McCool study the video, they're going to say, right, analyse and say, right, why are we losing these big leads? Well, let's tighten it down a bit. Let's get it sorted down. If we do get that big lead anymore, we're going to keep it, get it tight, look at our defence, because it seems like their attack is going really well, Brendan, but their problem is maybe with their defence. Now, a very interesting one, Luke Gavigan, who's captain of McCool's. Father, Luke Gavigan, would have played with Ardara for years and years, and played for the county as well, and his uncle Martin Gavigan as well. So Luke is living now over in Balbafay, and his son is now captain actually of McCool's. So that's a bit of a connection between the two teams here.
That's the way the world works. And Martin, you reference, of course, the brilliant of Oisín Gallen in there. And if you look through the Ardara team, you know, Paddy McGrath, of course, one of our heroes for 2012, still the stalwart in there. At number 6, you have John Ross Malloy, and at 8, he's been in the county squad. So has Conor Classen, you know, and the likes of CJ, as you say, KJ Malloy and these fellas. They've all been in the round county squad. So there's a building of talent there in Ardara. They certainly are putting something together. As you says, Martin, the main thing you want to be is competitive, and Ardara have been competitive the last number of years. So that's what's adding to this crowd here today, that they're back and they're competitive, and it gives, you know, they have a chance in every game they go into.
Yeah, and this is a good test for them today. It's important for them to win this game. I said won your home games, but what's very important, if you look at their midfield, as you said, John Ross Malloy and Conor Classen, that's as good a club midfield in the county. Both of them were in county panels. Conor Classen is an All-Ireland medal in his back part, and then you have Paddy McGrath comes our back. Now, Brendan's was the big question: will he go to full back to mark Oisín Gallen? Mightn't be a bad move to do, to put him, actually, because we know how good a marker he was. I know he's a wee bit older when he used to do all the big marking jobs way back, but I think how they contain Oisín Gallen will make a big difference in how this game from the Ardara point of view, how it goes.
Yeah, and Martin, just looking at the teams, I mean, I was involved with Union's last year. We played Ardara in the championship, and boy, did they get stuck on this. And, you know, is the fitness now we're seeing at club levels, there is so much fitness regimes happening. Unless you can mix it with the top teams physically, you're not going to be at the pitch of it. And we just hold there for a minute's silence.
Ladies and gentlemen, we ask you to remain standing. Got Oren to the end, so we finish take Reggie Gardner.
Yes, folks, that's a brilliant rendition of the national anthem. Of course, a minute's silence there for recent tragedies in Donegal. And Martin, just before the last question I was putting you about the fitness regimes, you know, and even being involved, say, in Unions last year, very similar patterns to the county teams. And unless you are going to buy into that ability to get up and down the pitch, you're not going to mix it. And I just seen a real physical edge, and really with Dunlow last year in the final, you could see, I know, that massive work, particularly the last 3 years, they've put on the S&C and getting up their fitness. And I think that's telling in the likes of these teams now that are going back competitive again in terms of playing who, no matter who they play.
Yeah, suppose, Brendan, you know, you look at it even from a Donegal point of view, you know, when we came up against Kerry, how much further advanced they are, you know. So Jim and the boys have had 2 years of it now, but you know, you're talking about 3, 4, 5 years of getting that built up, and we look at it here now when we look at the likes of the championship games here, the subs are going to be very important. Your panel's very important. If you lose, losing player, and that middle eight really is the amount of miles or kilometres they're going to put up on the clock, up and down the field with the new system and the new rules, which is very good. The new rules are working out great, and we've had some brilliant games all over, even great club games, and it's all fitted in very well. And referees have been very sensible the way they're reffing it and everything, and it's become a very enjoyable game. And this is a game we really look forward to this evening because they're very well matched, two very well matched teams. We're going to look at the big battles, the 1-to-1 battles, and see how they go.
Yeah, yes indeed. The ref's about to hop the ball in here. CJ Malloy is racing for it, and he has won that ball. Ardara on the opening attack of the game. The ball goes across to Callum Melly. He's got the ball in. He comes inside the arc. He pops the ball away. And how is that for a start from Ardara? He raises his fist to the crowd. Callum Melly, first attack, first score.
Yeah, brilliant score by number 10. It's hard to see these Ardara numbers on the back of the jersey, but Callum Malloy, brilliant work. But what to do? But CG Malloy, wearing number 14, big man, like his dad was before him, into the middle of the field, and he won the throw-in. What important it is to win the throw-in, and for first blood for Ardara.
Yeah, I had 1-6 the last day out, had a super game in that full forward line, and again, maybe, relishing that one-on-one battles inside as teams aren't able to push back the 15 that they used to, and players are exposed. Big kick out round the midfield, up went Klassen, but it was broken away by the men from Cumhaills, and they're on the attack now. And as Jamie Keegan and as a ball, he fists it inside. The sidestep's been shown there by Kevin McCormick. Comes back to that man, Oisín Callan. The dummy stepping inside on that trusty right foot. As that equalising score? What else would it be, Martin? That is Oisín Gallen from just outside the scoring area in the arc. And again, even though Ardara had numbers back, McCool's weaved the chance and a simple score for Gallen.
I think a lot of people are watching David Clifford, the way he plays. You have to get in tight to him to stop him kicking, but what does he do? He takes the wee dummy, and Oisín Gallen did the exact same thing. Ardara players right in on top of him, took the wee dummy, cut inside, and kicked a very good score.
Yeah, Matthew McGlynn hitting that ball, came a bit short. No one really knew what to do with it there, and it came across to Sean Martin, one of our under-20 county players, in a brilliant season for Donegal, and certainly one to watch for the future, no doubt. But that was a short kick out by Matthew McGlynn there. He kind of caught it short, nobody really read it, and as McCool's got possession, and as we're seeing in all these games now, possession is the key, because by and large teams are working a scoring chance off that midfield opportunity, and McCool's now come raiding again. Gallen looking to get away from his marker, who has come in late. It's Joe Melly wearing number 17, but Gallen has got away from him again, and the danger man Martin has kept inside him, and he's inside that kind of area. There's only one outcome, Martin. As I say, Joe Melly was a late replacement for Shane Mooney in the full back line, struggling to keep with him.
Yeah, I think that I would even already put Paddy McGrath back on him, just by giving him the experience of playing on him. I know maybe Paddy's carried a lot of knocks down, but I mean, you've got the one thing you do, Brendan, and you know, would do the exact same thing you were trying to play against yourself when you were playing. Can't allow you to get the ball, because the minute they get a player of that quality gets the ball in his hands, Brendan, that's the end of it. Yep. He's especially at club level, he's even good at county level.
Our job running the scaps in there, they're breaking forward. It comes across here. Kyle McHugh switches the play across the field to the opening point scorer. That is Callum Melly, looking for another score for his team. McCool's get set under defensive shape, and Melly has it now over on the right hand side. He switches it back here to Kyle McHugh. Kyle gives it back to Malloy. Malloy goes for that long ball inside to CJ, but the covering man is there this time. It's a simple cut-out pass. If you're going to drop that in, you need to put the meat behind it. It was an easy possession given away, and the ball's switched forward, and it's Gallen out in front. There's 2 or 3 around him this time. The free has been given though. Gallen's going to tap and go. Paddy McGrath, close attention to him, as Martin mentioned, might happen. That ball comes across to Sean Martin. Martin with a strike. And Sean Martin, I tell you what, he knows what his post is. Martin McHugh, I watched him play a few times, and I tell you what, he plays in that half back line, but when he come forward, he can put the ball over the bar, and he's a lovely strike there with the top of his spot.
Yeah, he just drove that kind of, you're right, exactly, with the outside of the boot, and it's interesting, you know, he's picking up the man that's got the point, Callum Melly for Ardara as well, handed with a ball, but driving forward, but Oisín Gallen, everything, you know, he didn't score that, and he scored the other two, and he made that score. Bad collision there, but I think everybody's okay. Yeah,
Ardara in possession now, coming forward. Josh Mealy on the ball, giving it back to Callum Mealy, and again McCool's getting back into their shape, going back to Conor Classen here, and they'll build the play from there. Ball across to Paddy McGrath. McCool's much more direct in their attack. Shane White on the ball, going down into this corner, rotating back. Kyle McHugh has it. McCool's happy enough they've got their numbers back. Ardara looking at a possible long option. They hit the last one a bit short. Malloy looking at inside. It's gone in this time with a bit more meat behind it. Malloy's up in front. He wins it well. He has 2 or 3 round him. He's looking for the foul. Was there a foul? Yeah. The referee has given it. And Martin, that's hard to work with. Malloy's a big man. If he gets in front of you, he wins it there. And the strength, even though he had 2 or 3 round him, he was looking for the free and he got it.
Yeah, won the ball very well, and they're going to put it in on top. There's a big battle. Conor Griffin, the fullback's not a small man either, and he's going to have a big battle with him, Conor. But that ball got in there, went in to CJ Malloy, and I'll tell you, he made no mistake when he's kicked the free over the bar to take it back to a 1-point game. But yeah, it's a good tactic to have. Gives you a big option having a big man inside that you don't have to run the ball all the time, Brendan.
Yeah, certainly a good tactic there, because the first one didn't come in, didn't beat the sweeper, but that time it reached Malloy and he made the free and he converted the free as well. And that kick from Owen Gallen has gone out over the line in a simple possession. Malloy back to Paddy McGrath. And Ardara building, and McCool's certainly much more deeper in terms of their defensive shape. They're kind of asking Ardara on them. When they get it, they're breaking at savage pace. But McCool's looking to put those couple of sweepers in around the scoring area and keep Ardara out around it. Classen this time coming breaking into the danger zone. Lost run of the ball. Was it touching the ground? Ardara tackling to win it back. They're back down in that corner and it's been taken out there by Joe Boyle. So Martin. Ardara have it in the left hand flank here. Looking to build up the play. Gallen is the outlet every time and he's won it every time. It's hopped off him the last 2 times, but he's still gained possession. Ardara trying their best in the form of Joe Milley to keep him out of that scoring area, but he's worked it across inside. Ardara have another opportunity, and it's that man, it's that man Kevin McCormick who puts the ball over the bar, and that's 4 from 4 now, Martin. Deadly shooting from the men from McCool's.
Yeah, brilliant score, and Oisin Gallen's the target. Ardara's going to have to get the second player quicker in on him, but Kevin McCormick, a brilliant score by Kevin McCormick. In fairness to referee Anthony McCallick, he let the game go there, Brenton, when he could have given a free. Yeah,
Gallen has got it. McCool's have the kick out. They're breaking in the round. They're getting around the Ardara defence a lot more simpler than Ardara against them. And again, it's back to the previous point score. This time it's on the left. And Kevin McCormick says, thank you very much. I'll take that opportunity all day. And Martin, there's a real difference in the 2 attacks. When Ardara go forward, McCool's are sitting in their shape. They're looking to pull them in the bad areas. But when McCool's go at Ardara, they're taking their man on. They're driving. They're creating opportunities, overlaps. And they're profiting again, Martin. That's 5 strikes, 5 points.
Yeah, and the great thing about it is Oisin Gallen's getting the ball. He's throwing Ardara players to him because they're probably expecting him to take men on. And what he's doing is then he's taking in other players like he did that team with Keegan McCormick and the last time, and it's just catching them out. And there's a half goal chance there for McCool's. Like they're going 5-2 up, Brendan. I think Ardara just need to get a score to settle them down. Yeah, indeed. Conor Claassen doing his bit in that by winning the midfield ball. He gave it to Paddy McGrath, and now we're inside. Could this be the first 2-pointer of the game? He unloads. It's Kyle McHugh on the left foot. What a brilliant 2-pointer from him. And Martin, you just said about Ardara needing the score. Well, there's nothing better than a 2-pointer to really eat at that lead and took it from 5-2 back to 5-4. Yeah, and it's probably with McCool's worried about the ball going in front of CJ Malloy inside, that they drop back a wee bit and give them a chance to kick 2-pointers. But it's all about getting possession of the ball and getting the possession of the kick out, and McCool's have it again going forward. Yeah, and McCool's are doing much better in the kick out in these early stages, and that's reflective on the scoreboard. Although Karen McHugh's 2-pointer, a massive score. Here's Gallen. Will they go for the first 2-pointer? Dummy solos. He swings that left foot. Has it got enough? Martin is going to drop short, and in the end, aimlessly wide. But Martin, interesting point there on keeping teams honest. If you could go long to a man inside, then it unhinges the defence, and they know they can't sit where they want to, and that really can be either a target direct, or at least it can create spaces in other places. Oh yeah, you're exactly right, Brendan. It's a big advantage. I know when you were playing, there probably players going back, and our time was the same thing, but now with just 11 men, it's always given space, and there's a lot of options even for the 2-pointers, yes, which makes a big difference. Kevin White winning that ball. He's the captain in there, number 13, gaining possession. It's a foul, the Ardara. They'll take it simple and give it back and build it up from there, and I think this is the difference in the two teams. There certainly is, because they're looking to slow down that Ardara attack, whereas Ardara are going at straight direct at their opposite defence. And they're certainly causing a lot more problems in these early stages, but it certainly is early here. It's the first 10 minutes. It is McCool's who have that slender lead, 5 points to 4. Conor Claassen reading down the left hand side, looking to get that angle, looking to get that space to get the shot away. The ball's rotated back here. Josh Mealy has it, giving it back to Callum Mealy as Ardara look to build up, and a potential 2-pointer from range. It was a brave effort by Mealy, but it's going to tail out to the right and wide, and immediately Owen Gallen getting the ball down, looking to get that restart before Ardara can get back at numbers. A huge kick out the pitch, and again, Martin, possession has been won. That time it was Joe Boyle who used the strength to win possession, and McCool's are coming at real pace at this Ardara defence. Caution Gallen down this left hand side, and really for the goal.
All too easy goal chance here. Martin, he did the hard part, but in the end, Matthew McGlynn spread himself well, keeping out the opportunity, but he went past Joe Milley like he wasn't there, and Joe Milley looking round, looking at his teammates going, where are you? I need help here. And he certainly does, and that's no disrespect to Joe, because Gallen is one of the best in the business, and he is on form this evening, and he's already terrorising this Ardara defence. But listen, it would have been a massive score in the game as it is. Matthew McGlynn did his job. and Ardara now are in possession again, and again McCool's looking to slow down their attack. They've got their numbers back. They're in that defence, always keeping 2, 3, 4 sweepers in and around the house, saying come ahead, try and break us down, and that's why the direct ball inside to Malloy is certainly an option for Ardara. The ball is shaped across. It's Dara Hannigan on the ball there down that left hand side. He rotates it back. Ardara looking to make that bit of space. They're right down in the corner. This is where McCool's want them to be. See if they can get an overload, a 2 against 1. Comes back to Conor Claassen. Ardara certainly not afraid to try a 2-pointer from range if McCool's get too deep in that defence. And it's Melly running at them. He gets on to the left. Is it going to drop short? It is. Out comes Gallen. He's fisted away. It comes back. And that was KJ Malloy there, Martin, in for Johnny McHugh just before the game. And Malloy, a very dangerous forward, a highly talented forward. That's his first score of the day.
Yeah, he's a good player. He's another one of the Malloys, and he's fabulous. He's carrying, I reckon he can only maybe play 20-25 minutes. That's the point. He's a bad ankle injury that he hasn't really got over yet, but fair play to him, make himself available for that. But Dara Hannigan did well to get back to save a goal which would put them 4 points down on the line, went up the field and ended up involved in it. And now we're all level. That's the difference. When you get, maybe sometimes you would have put you're nearly your house on Oisín Gallen finishing that, as you said in the comedy. Brendan, he did everything right, only he didn't keep it down, just finish it. But Dara Hannigan did really well to get back on the line. Yeah,
he did. And Gallen is going to pose a threat, no doubt, as this game's on, but there's plenty of men to help him out, and one of them is Kevin McCormick. He gives it across to Joe Boyle there, rotating out. And has there been a change on the Gallen as the shot comes in, but it tails off to the right and wide there for the men from McCool's. But it looks like potentially, I think Shane White is coming out, maybe to pick up Oisín Martin there. He was out around him there now.
Yeah, I don't know.
There, Joe boys. You take him, because it's a difficult proposition, whoever's on him.
I think they're saying, every one of them saying, well, I don't want to really be the man to go to pick him up either,
Yeah, Malloy battling in there. The ball breaks to Joe Melly, and Ardara has it. And again, McCool's in no rush really to chase them down as Ardara come out. But the three that's there are battling, and they've got a hand in, and that's a bad turnover. And Ardara giving away simple possession there. They should have passed and moved the ball. They've given away far too handy, and it's that man again, Gallen, on the ball. He twists one way, twists another.
Some score.
And he curls the ball over the bar with ease. And Danny Walsh couldn't do much about that, Martin. But again, Gallen is in top form, and there doesn't look like there's anybody in this Ardara full back line that can keep with him.
No, listen, get the ball, but you can't allow it to be turned over. Too easy a turnover by Ardara. I think they're just a wee bit casual coming out to the ball. I think it was Johnny McGonigal, maybe the number 2. He tried it. Maybe nobody showed for him as well. But the minute the ball goes into Gallen, that situation, as you said, there's going to be trouble. But you have to one possession of the, you have to get the possession, try to keep the ball away from him as much as you can, and that's what Ardara had, possession of the ball, and you just can't afford to lose it. When you have possession, get it forward. Get it forward
is right, and that's what they're attempting now in the form of Conor Claassen. He sifts it off to Melly. He has a ball down this right hand side, and again McCool's knowing that he's in danger once he's down that side, and the tackles were coming in, but Kyle McHugh did enough there just to pull that free. But it certainly was a danger, Martin. You see that a lot of big teams with a sweeper, they try and get people near the sideline, knowing that they've nowhere else to turn but into the tackle. But Ardara worked this short now. Was that a foul in there? Ardara faithful thinks so, and then he's done. That's quite harsh, Martin. That was KJ.
I thought it was fouled, Brendan. I thought he was fouled first,
like
but the ref didn't give it. And I mean, the minute the second player got in, so again, so McCool's are coming out with the ball and now going forward, and just interesting to see they've put Shane White now back on Gallen now. I think it's Shane White that looked to be picking up that in, but here goes Gallen again.
Yeah, Gallen again. They're showing his power and his strength, and again, Martin. That was there was tackles coming in there. He was looking for it. I've seen them let go. I've seen them given, but certainly Gallen is a handful there today. And that time, out came the raiding Sean Martin. He was looking up. Gallen actually was being pulled. He had his marker. I think it was Danny Walsh. Broke away from him up the pitch. And again, Martin, the strength. Paddy McGrath come in, had a cut at him, ended up fouling him. And Gallen is in absolute form and on fire here today. And I wonder now, is the ref having a word with umpire to say, was there a foul? did Gallen knock his man over before that attack came on, but he's happy enough to play on.
Yeah, I think maybe Gallen was a wee bit frustrated and he threw his feet up in the air a wee bit, Brendan, after he was gun the foul, just trying to push him out. But I know, look what they were knocking in it. We know that he's not as a dirty player, and I just think that Ardara need to make sure they keep possession of the ball. Don't get turned over, don't lose the ball, and try to keep possession for themselves to get a score. And they've only put the one ball into CJ, and the kick out straight out to McCool's man again. He's fouled.
Waste of possession there, and in fairness, Matthew McGlynn puts up his hand because McCool's have won the majority of kickouts, and they've had the majority of the attacks here, the more dangerous attacks as well. And certainly in your own kickout, you've got to take better care with that, because Jamie Keegan has just, with that last free, put McCool's into a 2-point lead here, 7-5. And in many ways, in terms of attacks created and danger, they probably should be a wee bit further ahead than that, but as it is, Ardara are fighting in there, and as you said, Martin, that switch of Shane White coming out to try and deal with Gallen. He goes in the 1-2 and on the loop. He's causing all sorts of problems, and again, it's that man raiding forward, but it's wide this time from the boot of Sean Martin. And Martin, so many holes been found there, because when McCool's get on the round the scoring area, they're all dropping the shoulders, 1-2, and there's a lot of movement from them, whereas Ardara are very static when they break forward, and McCool's defence is finding it easy, to put them into awkward areas, poor places in the pitch.
Yeah, they need to get in. In fairness to Oisin Gallen, we look at him, and all the county players are playing well, and I always like that as a good sign, from a county point of view, that they're all strong and they're all really sharp, and they're all putting in a big effort for their club and everything else. But Ardara have turned this over.
Another kick out, that there was a push in the back, and McCool's again possession.
Luke Gavigan's gone into the book here, and the Ardara supporters are not happy, Brendan.
Gavigan, of course, coming with McCool's this evening, and their captain as well. So a leader, no doubt, in that dressing room, number 8. Bit of a powerhouse there in midfield, and that power, said the ref, was unduly used because he has floored Josh Mealy, and the foul has been given, and our Ardara players taking on a bit of water here this evening. It's a hot evening here in Pierce Memorial Park, and John Ross Malloy giving that to the veteran that is Paddy McGrath, and he's well up for the battle there. He's not taking any nonsense. Ardara coming up this left hand side, and again, they're always seem to be attacking and down the wings, never able to cut right through the middle. McCool's looking pretty solid in there with the way their team is set up. Ball coming across here to Joe Mealy.
Here she goes.
Go from distance, I'll tell you what. I thought that was sailing over, Martin. And again, never mind the arc. Ardara having shots from outside the 45. So it certainly feels like they think that they're possibly the scoring goals. But at the other end, particularly Mr. Gallen hasn't any bother kicking into the lower goals as well here this evening. Again, McCool's coming in attack. Loads of space on this pitch all over. Fintan Griffith giving it off there to Jamie Keegan, and a great block, great tackle in there, and turnover possession. Ardara must break. They must get this ball up the pitch with the foot before McCool's can get back, and that's what they're attempting to do. The crowd are getting up on their feet. Kyle McHugh has it now, and again CJ Malloy's resting inside, but that's the running off the shoulder that Ardara need, and Melly put the ball over the bar, Martin, and there's the example of the kick pass. McCool's not able to get back into their shape. Melly coming off the shoulder there and putting the ball over the bar.
Yeah, brilliant score, but let's give credit to the midfielder, Conor Classen. He got back and made the block when McCool's were going for a score at the other end, and a brilliant block. So it's down to another 1 point game again.
The scoreboard
here goes
Oisin
Gallen.
All right, a 7-6, and now this is the battle. Oisin Gallen just showing absolute power and strength here, and with the left foot. An audacious attempt out on the left hand side with his weak foot. The confidence is up with Gallen, and he literally, when he gets it, he's going to get a shot away. There's nothing really McCool's can seem to, or Ardara can seem to do to stop the McCool's man. Another foul in the build up, and there seem to be quite a few of them. I wonder, is it a tactic of McCool's to slow the play up? Ross Malloy coming out here again. McCool's with their sweepers back. The ball's nipped inside to KJ Malloy, recycled back here to Kyle McHugh, back out to Josh Mealy. Josh takes a bounce, kicks it across the pitch, and it's back to that slow build up by Ardara, coming down this left hand side. Shapes to shoot, decides not to. That was Kevin White giving it back, and again McCool's looking to take Ardara into that slow defensive game. Klassen, can he break a tackle? Can he get in around that cover? And the zonal defence of McCool's is holding pretty tight. Ball goes inside, and it's a ball was difficult to take, and it couldn't be taken by KJ Malloy, and he's now giving away a foul. And again, that zonal defence working for Ardara. They're all sticking to their cause, or for McCool's, they're all sticking to their cause in terms of their positioning, and no one's leaving their space, and they're just waiting for Ardara to play that bad pass and to snap on, and to take possession. And that time the ball was knocked away, and the foul was given to the men from McCool's, and they're coming raiding again. And the difference is that as they break inside, it's all 1v1 in there. It's all 1v1. Tussles is happening, and so far McCool's are looking very, very dangerous once they get inside. It's Gavigan now outside looking to break the tackle. Klassen got a hand on the ball, broke away. No one was watching there for the pickup. And again, off the shoulder comes that raiding man in terms of Sean Martin. And a kick from range. It lands over the bar. And the second point of the day from Sean Martin. He's had 3 attempts, Martin McHugh, but again, showing his ability coming forward there, Martin. It's up to 8. The scoreboard still saying 5, I think.
Yeah, but I think that ball, actually, I'm being told here, dropped short. Maybe we thought it was when it left his boot, just going over the bar, that the keeper got it. That's what it is.
An extra shield here.
So so it is 8-5. That's the score. I think 8-5 is the score. Yeah.
Positioning there, Martin. All right.
Yeah.
So yeah, sorry, 8-5, folks. We'll cancel out that melee one. Thanks for keeping us right there. Our job possession now. Looking to build up the park again with Kyle McHugh. He gives it across to Kellen Milley, back to McHugh. Malloy comes off the shoulder. You got to break the tackle, and McHugh's going to do that. He gives it back, and again the breaks coming up the pitch is Dara Hannigan, giving it across into that left-hand channel. And that's what the zonal defence want. They want a rush shot, or they want a bad pass, and that time it was a rush shot that came in there, and a great block down by McCool's, and it's Oisin Gallen who's right back in there, coming striding out with the ball. He gives it across to Joe Boyle, back to Gallen. Gallen fists it into space. There's a man clean through. It's Marty Riley, if anyone sees him. Gallen sees him as a fist, but it's probably just a score now because our draw defence has got back inside, but they're nowhere near Marty Riley, and the former county man, Marty Riley, gets his first score of the day to extend that lead out to 4 points. And all 6 forwards scored for McCool's last week's game, Martin, and all 6 are looking dangerous here today.
Yeah, exactly. That's Marty Riley. Hasn't touched much ball today, but suppose he's in to stay wide. As I used to say way back in my time, you get out in the sawdust and keep your man out there and leave space for Gallen in the centre. But I think again, Chad McSorley, what a block back in defence when Ardara were going for a 2-pointer. They made the block, and the score comes off that good block.
Yeah, and I think, Martin, the scoreboard's reflective of the dominance of McCool's, and you can see now big CJ Malloy has come out round midfield. They kind of won ball. He's realising that he needs to have more of an influence on this game, and there he's won a free for his team. He's going to tap and go and come up the pitch. And our job with the numbers back here, but they're no dangerous area, and McCool's are happy enough to sit back in, get their defensive shape in place, and say to Ardara, come on, break us down. Big Classes trying to do that. Back to McHugh. First back again as Ardara come on the attack. McHugh has it again, playing that number 11 role, trying to orchestrate attacks. It comes across to Callum Milley, who certainly can kick a score. Again, the ball's worked back to cornerback here. Danny Walsh coming up to join it. It's Klassen now. Kenny McGround. They're trying to move this zonal defence of Ardara's. Simple fist in around the back. Joe Melly has it. He rotates it back. But again, poor pass. McCool's intercept and come up the park. And again, it's that kick pass which has worked so well for them. And a Gallen again out in front. And he is on fire there today. Tackles coming in, and Martin, he's just too hot to handle, and really Ardara going to have to find some way to release a man and double up on them, because Gallen is winning possession, he's setting up plays, he's scoring, he's doing everything, and really there's no one man in there that can handle him. And again, the foul pulled and a straightforward free.
And you're exactly right, and the player playing on him is playing behind him because he's too afraid to play in front of him, alongside him. You'd have to nearly mark him alongside him if you're going 1-to-1 and hope for the best. And the other situation is don't get the turnovers again. They were turned over that time again up the field and come back down the field. A brilliant ball from Luke Gavigan where the space was there, Brennan. And as you keep saying, the foot pass is the one that done the most damage and will do the most damage. And a brilliant foot pass by Luke Gavigan into Oisin Gallen. And he has the ball in his hands, Brendan. It's going to be a score, a free or something. Yeah. So this is a 2-pointer, a chance for a 2-pointer for him now. They would tell you way back in the old days, Brendan, you shouldn't get up on the ground and get water and take the free. So it'll be interesting to see now how he gets on here.
Very good, Martin.
Well, that's what they always said. I don't know if that's true or not.
There might be something stronger on the water now.
Exactly.
Some kind of
special bottles.
Electrolytes will give him a boost, But Gallen here from the ground, and for a player of his on a night like this, Martin, you'd nearly expect him to plant this. He puts it out, but he doesn't get the curl, and
we'll have
to have a word with Gallen after the match about taking a drink for these frees.
Take a drink and listen, maybe he should have kicked it out of his hands, and maybe he should have let Jimmy Keegan or somebody else at it, because listen, when you take a big knock, and he did take a heavy knock there, sometimes you're better. In a way, their Ardara supporters are happy with that.
In that, Martin. He has that in his locker, that kick from the ground. The ball scooped up by Sean Martin. Was it off the ground? Ardara crowd thought so, but the Coos get the ball. High tackle by Martin, and listen, these high tackles, Martin, fairly get the crowd going, but you'll never see a player injured by it. It's one of them. They look bad, but maybe they don't.
They're not, and just a wee bit high in the tackle, and but. I think he's going to get a yellow card. I would say maybe the referee Andy McCauley was saying maybe not a yellow card, and then I would say maybe one of the linesmen maybe said to him maybe that it was, because it was just a wee bit high. But look at this. We need this in Donegal football. We need a bit of physical contact, Brendan. We don't have enough of it, There's not enough of it in Donegal, and we, we're a nice county, and we're actually maybe too nice at times on football fields, just to get the start. Even though with the new rules, it's different, but get the body in there and start taking hits, because if you look at some club football in other counties, I go to one all the time about Derry or Tyrone or that. It's different. It's ref differently, and it's different football. And I think it'd be no harm to see a bit of physicality come into some of our club games.
Okay, no more Mr. Nice Guy, says Martin McHugh. We got to listen to this man and heed his warnings. And Ardara are on the ball, and there's one thing I noticed about them: they were certainly physical when we played them last year, and they're going to need that physicality this evening. Klassen there making a great run, and that's what we need, Martin. You need a leader like Conor Klassen. That's the first time he's really drove at the McCool's defence. He's a big, powerful man. If they're going to stand off you've got to drive at him. He shirked the first tackle, come on the right foot, and planted the ball over the bar. That was a much needed score, because McCool's had scored 4 in a row.
Yeah, that was a brilliant score back to a 3-point game by Conor Klassen. We know how good a player he is. I mean, he has an All-Ireland medal in his back pocket. I mean, you have him, Marty Riley and Paddy McGrath, hasn't it? The three of them with All-Ireland medals out there in the back pocket, and that's brilliant from Conor Klassen there. The way, didn't get blocked down either, which is good experience.
Yeah, good experience. Well done to him. McCool's in possession again, though. And looking to
There's 2 additional minutes, just Sinead Breen's after texting up. Two minutes.
2 to go, and again, Ardara just can't hold any of the runners. And in fairness, Martin, this is the reason why, because we're tipped going into this game, because they have an array of players that are going at, and what's happening in the modern game is it's 1v1s, and particularly the way their defence is set up. Basically, McCool's are taking their time, either going direct into Gallen and he's setting up all sorts of plays, or they're running at their opposite numbers, and really there's been very little Ardara tackling that's been able to stop the McCool's onslaught. It's time after time.
I would totally agree with you, Brendan. Expect Oisin Gallen to knock that over the bar, and he's done that. But I agree completely with what you're saying, Brendan. And you know what it comes down to? With the old football that we had, where 15 players behind the ball, 14, there was no tackling, there was no one-to-one. It's going to take Donegal, it's going to take teams a few years to get back into getting markers and having cornerbacks that can play like they did. Ardara kicked that ball out over the line straight from the ball, and here comes McCool's.
Past the 21, so the Ardara man couldn't touch it. They had to let it go, and was another possession and another big opportunity for McCool's, and you just think that there's certainly a goal coming in this game for McCool's, Martin, at any time. I can't see that net not being hit at some stage in this game, whether it's this half, which is nearly up, but certainly in the next half you'd fancy McCool's to get a goal. And if anything, it's Ardara that might need it, because they trail by 4 at the minute, 10 points to 6. We have about a minute to go in this half, as Ardara again are pushed down that left side. They're looking to break back in, and it's Mealy that has it. He's had a great half, he's got on a lot of ball, and there's CJ Malloy just running their Ardara defence from a very tight angle, doesn't catch it right. Tall did it catch. Owen Gallen has it, the keeper, just down that corner. He brings it out, and again, is there a chance for one more? If this was the hooter, Martin, it would be the last play, but there's no hooter in the club, and will the ref allow this last attack? And it's that man Sean Martin, who's had a brilliant first half, coming out with the ball again. What a super player he is. He's added 2 points to the McCool's total as well, giving that ball back. Is there time for one last attack? No, there isn't. The ref calls it half time. Martin, 10 points to 6, and again a very entertaining half, Martin, and very much contrast of styles in terms of the defensive setup of McCool's, the breaking at pace, and the 1v1 battles inside versus Ardara's more slower build up, and McCool's sitting very happy bringing them on, only conceding 6 points in the modern game. It's not a lot, Martin, and McCool's probably should have had more than the 10 points on the board that they have.
Yeah, exactly, Brian. They should have had at least one goal. Like Oisín Gallen should have really finished the goal. He did everything else right, but he should have finished the goal. To see Luke Gavigan getting on to the referee out there, to see, must be asking him, well, I don't know when he's getting on to him there. Penter's coming out now that I think Luke wasn't happy with that yellow card he picked up in the first half. But I think looking at it, McCool's the better side. At the minute they are the better side, and they've got the quality player Oisín Gallen on the field who's on it, but the other players, they're working, the way they're working and everything else, and they're putting in a big shift, but they should be further ahead at half time. There's no doubt about that they should be further ahead at half time. But so Ardara playing down, we call it, maybe down into these goals down here to the left as we look out here, Brendan, where McCool's will be playing scoreboard goals. I think these are the scoring goals. I think maybe people will tell you here in Ardara. So I think they're just going to have to say at half time, will we put Paddy McGrath on, Oisín Gallen take a chance, or will we drop a player back in front of him? Because every time if they're turned over, the ball's coming out there. And I'm going back to what I was saying to you there, with the system that was played, the old system with everybody behind the ball, there was no marking. So we've lost, no team in the county is nearly a good marker anymore because they've lost that quality. But that will come back. But it's going to take, it's all over Ireland, it's going to take a while for it to come back, but we're going to have to end up having a corner back who can mark a man, a full back who can mark a man, where all that was that aim was giving serious protection to the full back line, and they didn't really have to be tight markers because the protection was there. So that's the good thing about the game has changed. But one thing is, teams are going to have to get better markers, to mark the likes of the the Oisín Galles' word. Normally Ardara would have a player to mark him, say this is a man we know is picking him up. Back in the old days there would always be markers in every club.
Would have been a Paddy McGrath at his pomp, would have been back there. I guess Paddy's he's in his last couple of years, so pace ways Martin's been difficult, and looking at the pitch here, it's a forwards pitch, it's a fast playing pitch, and Gallen really has just looked head and shoulders above everybody on it. Taking nothing away from the rest of McCool's team, they've been fantastic, but he certainly has been the danger man. He's helped himself to 4 points here as well. So listen, Damien Devaney takes his home team in now. They're going to have a go in this second half and really come out and go after the men from McCool's, because at this point McCool's have played the better football, Martin. They're 4 points ahead and they will be happy going in at half time. So we'll be back in the second half with the rest of the match commentary, and we'll speak to you after the break. He comes inside the arc, he pops the ball away, and how is that for a start from our drop?
At Michael Murphy Sports and Leisure, we cater for everyone, from top sporting athletes to relaxed casual sporting individuals and everyone in between. We also provide a large range of teamwear services and cater for schools and clubs. Orders can be customised to your specification to suit your individual needs. From clothing to equipment, we've got you covered.
It's probably dropping down. It could be a row here yet, Martin McHugh. Braddis, we're working off a confined space here.
Them boys are all dressed to go out tonight and all. Now you're going to change the shirts now ahead of you, Brendan, spilling the tea down on top of them.
Trouble there now, Brian. We might need a few bouncers up here before the time's up. Braddis is enjoying this. This is a football match coming here, Martin, and myself and yourselves on commentary. We'll have to flip round maybe. I was never a commentator, Martin, but we'll take up where we need to. We'll might flip it round the next day for the crack.
No, exactly. But
whatever needs be. But listen, folks, I hope you're enjoying the commentary so far. Myself and Martin are doing our best to bring you all the action as Anthony McKellick throws in the ball for the second half as McCool's are ahead of Ardara, the home team, by 4 points. And the lights are on here at Pearse Memorial Park, and it's always that sign of the summer closing in. But who will be the winners of the Dr. Maguire? That remains to be seen. And these two teams still have hopes and aspirations of that. Ardara on the attack, direct ball inside. But again, McCool's back in numbers. He had 4 or 5 men to Ardara's 2. And they've won possession here and they've turned it out around. And look, Gavigan has recycled the ball. And McCool's looking to come out now. All very good in possession. They've worked it back to Sean Martin. He passes it up the pitch to Chad McSorley. Chad gives it back to Martin again, and McCool's looking to find those gaps inside, looking to find those free men. Putting the pressure on inside is Kevin White there, and again it's back to Sean Martin. Gives it inside, pass and move as McCool's are doing as they build up the pitch. Conor McGinty there is fouled by Klassen. He gives the ball back. But Anthony McKellick, the ref, is not happy.
He's going to book Conor Klassen. Didn't seem a while up to it, but suppose maybe he can stop the man and
taking the tap and go.
So be interesting to see what he does now with the free. Will he just now? I think is he going to weigh in or leaving the free as it is? Yeah, he's going to leave it as it is out here. Kevin McGinley, the linesman, is just out setting out for the free. But anyway, Bren, I have 2 apologies to make in the first half. Liam McElhinney rang me and said that ball didn't go over the bar. We were unsighted. We thought it was over the bar. Yes. And the other one was that Conor Klassen hasn't won in All Ireland. That he was there in 11. So I'm sorry, but I'm glad that Liam has bought the streaming, because I'm surprised that he spent the money to buy the streaming. Actually,
somebody's watching and listen. We're glad to bring you the action, and you keep us right on all the detail as McCool's break forward again. A brilliant run by Finton. Griffin there squaring it across, and he went for the fisted score there, Martin. It never looked on from cornerback Fionn McGinty there. It didn't look like it was an opportunity.
No, he should have given it into Marty Riley. He was inside him, I thought, and Marty could have fisted over the bar handy enough, but he was a wee bit far out to try to fist that over the bar. But again, McCool seemed to have more pace, Brendan, and pace is a very important thing, and especially in the modern game. And they look at when they come forward, they really are. You have Sean Martin and you have the other 2 lads that have backline really good pushing forward, and Luke Gavigan's having a big game in the middle of the field, physically getting in hits and tackles and working very, very hard, leading by example.
Yeah. Something that Ardara really needed to work on was the kickouts of Matthew McGlynn, finding their target, but they did that time. And here Ardara in possession, but it's a loose kick from the defender coming up the pitch there, or it is actually Josh Mealy that time. Actually was coming from deep, and he's given away possession. He allowed the tackle to come in, and a very physically strong McCool's side, I have to say. They've really got about Ardara today in terms of the tackle and in terms of breaking the tackle. That's a ball nipped inside the Gallen. He's out well in front there, and they decided to put back on him. Malloy has come back in there. And another score from then, that was John Ross. Malloy seems to have dropped on Gallen, but no matter, because it was, who was that, Martin?
Kevin
13?
McCormick, number
Kevin
13.
McCormick, yes.
Kicked it, and Russian Gallen drew the 3 players to him. Again, a turnover out the field, which Ardara are being punished with turnovers all the time. Out the field, worked up the field, and Kevin McCormick, he'd give it to Oisin Gallen, and then he kicked the foot pass and went on, and Oisin Gallen drew the players and gave him a handy ball back, and here's Gallen again.
Yeah, they've won the kick out again, and it's that pressure that they're putting on the kick out. They've been better out the pitch, which has given them more possession, and more possession means more attacks and equals more scores. And that's a brilliant score, Martin, from that left hand side, and it was Jamie Keegan on that left foot, Martin, right down in that left hand corner. And the difference is, when Ardara was in there in the first half, they were facing defenders. That time Keegan was his own. He swung the left foot at it. Brilliant score.
Going to try to put C.G. Malloy out the field. They're trying to aim the kick, and he's got this kick out. Oh, he missed it, but he's got it again.
It's now double scores that McCool's lead by Ardara, desperately needing a point, and the fight has been taken with Callum Mealy there on the left foot. Can he bring it back? It drops in. Chance of a goal there. Martin Owen Gallen coming
Carl
up.
Joseph Malloy went in, and he was unlucky, you know. It could have fallen anywhere, but it just happened to fall right for McCool's.
Goal would be desperately needed. It's 12-6 now, and it's you're really thinking Ardara's going to need a goal to come back in and challenge McCool's in this half.
Yeah, you're right, Brendan. They're going to need a goal, and you know they don't. McCool's look to have got the better, but that's well turned over by Conor Classen.
Good referee in there. Let the game play by Classen. Was pulled down. He's let the advantage go. It's come back to Malloy. Again, extra numbers back, a big difference, and again, second shot gone short, and very fortunate there. Has that been pulled back, Martin?
Yeah, he's given it back for the free, but on Conor Classen, but it's very close to a black card. But it's very close to a black card. The one on Conor Classen, the first one, so he did pull him down. But I think Ardara are saying that to him, but he's just given the free.
In terms of an opportunity,
it's at the referee's discretion, Brendan. Should we see it in other games? They could play 10-15 seconds and then take it back, as long as they keep the hand up. I think it's something they're going to have to look at, Brendan. I agree with you. You know, the advantage is far too long, and it was up to the player. If they're not advantaged, take the free. You know, just drop the ball.
Once Classen he engaged that second tackle, when he shifts that ball in, Martin, to me, when Malloy gets it there and he's trying to line up a shot, I think it's gone past where you can pull that back. That would be my own thoughts on it, but obviously not Anthony McKellick, the referee, and he's given a free to Ardara, and up steps Malloy on the left foot, and he plants it over the bar for Ardara's first score of the second half, bringing it back to a 5-point game. Martin, so listen, it's even that last opportunity you could see there with Malloy, there was 3 covering defenders in there, and it's something Ardara just haven't been able to do at the other end of the pitch.
Yeah, it's exactly, they're trying to break tackles, and in fairness, McCool's are physically stopping them, and they're not getting the same runners, that McCool's are getting from deep. Ardara have a sub coming on here now, and it's Kevin White, number 13's been taken off.
Captain's gone off, yes.
And it's his number 15 that's on, isn't it? I think
number 15, Johnny McHugh, who was down to start. Yes, that's right, Martin. He's come on. So yeah, the captain Kevin White gone off there. Johnny McHugh on the pitch that had something to the Ardara attack, but it's McCool's who again have one possession. And it's a great dink ball inside. He couldn't hold it there. It bounced off. Their number 13, Owen McCormick. Gallen picked it up at the second attempt. It's down in the corner. Gallen plays a 1-2. Back around. Is there a goal chance here? He steps inside 1-2. There's a load of players there, but 13 is Kevin McCormick again. He kept his composure there, Martin, and left foot a score. But again, McCool's threatening that goal, and a goal that Ardara really need. But you'd be thinking if anybody, it could be McCool's that gets a goal. Yeah,
and again, Gallen chipped up the ball into his hands, even on a very, very dry pitch. There might be a wee bit of dew on it and everything else, but a very dry pitch and everything else, and no problem to pick it up. You can see the ball is wet. There is a bit of a dew, but what a pick up. And McCool's really have taken over the second half, really. Ardara got that one score. Is it from is it maybe one from a free? Is it? They got the second half.
From the boot of Malloy. 13-7. And McCool's come raiding again. Gallen coming off his shoulder. He steps in, steps out again, set up the play. There's runners coming everywhere. This time it's a corner back in there. He lays it across, and McCool's, man, the runners coming there, Martin, all over the pitch. And again, Gallen's drawing in the players. He's dropping the shoulder, and he's attracting so much attention now. But McCool's aren't leaving them there on their own. And that time it was Fintan Griffin who came through from the defence. He combined with Fionn McGinty, Martin, and another score, pushing McCool's out to double scores again.
Yeah, it's a brilliant. And McCool's have won that kick out again.
15, Johnny McHugh replaces number 13, Kevin White, and Shane Mooney, number 3.
Because of the ball now coming
Johnny
across. It's a simple fist ball inside, and again goal opportunity, and this time Martin, and has been coming, rattled into the net by Kevin McCormick there. All too easy for our McCool's. Once again, winning possession quite easily around the mid-park, Martin. I think that's 7 kickouts now, and Ardara have only won one of them in this half, and you're just inviting more and more trouble. It was Jimmy Keegan gave the ball inside, and that time Kevin McCormick with an unstoppable shot into the roof of the net, Martin. It has been coming. It's Ardara that's needed it, but it's McCool's has got the goal.
Yeah, it's a there's fairness to McCool's. Brilliantly worked up the field. They won the ball in the middle of the field, and they worked it up the field. And he's really, really sharp, and they're very, very, very pacey, very quick on the pace. And that, as you said, it was Ardara that really needed the goal to make a game of it. But McCool's they've been actually very good the second half.
Yeah, Ardara winning the kick out. We're saying they've been dominated, but they've won this one. The ball rotated back to Classen as McCool's go hunting. Shift across to John Ross Malloy, coming up through the middle of the pitch here. Busting it back, the man's coming off the shoulder. Can Ardara get in the round again? There's that kind of wet ball there, Martin. It's easy turned over. McCool's on the break. Loads of running players coming off the ball. There's that man again. Jamie Keegan's on it. He's having a great game as well. He gives it to Gallen. Gallen's one-on-one with Paddy McGrath. He comes on to his left foot and he knocks the ball over the bar, and McCool's are operating at a different level in this second half, Martin, and when we needed an onslaught from Ardara to come back in, this is McCool's who've stepped up the gears. They're dominating this game.
Oh yeah, they're definitely the second half here. They won this kick out again. Ardara being punished with their kick outs, and McCool's have won it again. And Ardara, actually in fairness, have turned this over. They badly need to score, Ardara.
They badly need a score as the ball goes inside there to Kyle McHugh. He's looking to get round his man. McHugh steps one way, then another on that left foot of his, and that was a brilliant individual score from McHugh. He twisted Sean Martin inside and out and kept his composure and tapped it over the bar for Ardara's. Just their second point of the game. It's now 1:15 to Ardara's 8, and Martin, listen, they're going to have to start by winning possession first. Again, McCool's going short with a kick, and they're building up here again, and really they're taking the game to the home side.
Ah, yes, all McCool's the second half. They're getting away the short kick out. Impressive enough. Like were last week, Brendan, we were impressed with Gitower. You have to say you'd be impressed with McCool's team as well. You know, they're not totally dependent on Oisin Gallen. Yeah, he's a big player for them, but they're not totally dependent on him. They have a lot of good players and a lot of pace, which is a big thing in the modern game.
Yeah. Gallen now, as you see, attracting players, and Malloy, who has been coming close to him mostly in this half, checking him there. I think he might have accidentally caught his heels, but Gallen says, I don't need this free, I'm going to tap and go. As Ardara looked to the ref, Gallen looked to the post, he slammed it between them, and that is now 116, plays 8 points. And really, Martin, it's
that was
just
brilliant from Gallen. You're exactly right. The Ardara players were jumping up, giving out to the referee. They forgot about the new, they thought he was going to kick it off the ground or something. They forgot about the new rules. Gallen just tapped it, and away he went and kicked it over the bar.
You got to keep your eyes on the game. Big Malloy's come out the pitch. He's won that between 3, and he's given it here to the hard running Mealy, who's put in a real shift for Ardara. Wearing number 10 this evening. Paddy McGrath joined the attack, and again you see the numbers there, Martin. Every time Ardara step inside, you have 4 McCool's against 2 Ardara. That time the Ardara winning the foul, but always have the extra numbers back. And as much as we're talking about their attack and their pace, Martin, their defence has been very well drilled here this evening, and they look like a real force, you know, because they've got aerial ability out round the middle, they have a solid defence, and then they have all sorts of attacking options.
Oh yeah, they've look at their big 8. The 2 midfielders are physically strong, put in a lot of work. Their half back line, half forward line are brilliant. They mightn't be the biggest, but they're brilliant runners, and they're very good on the ball and making a big difference for them. And I think you know, when you look at it from McCool's have been impressive. Look at Ardara. I mean, Glenty's Conlon one of the favourites for the county championship for the final, and Ardara really put it up to them last week. But McCool's have really, I mean, it's they could be and should be even further ahead than they are, Brendan.
Yeah,
that's disappointing. Ardara, that free has gone out wide.
It's been very interesting to see them this evening. That's why when the shout came in to come down, this was definitely a game I was interested in seeing how these two teams were motoring. I thought, to be honest, from what I read and what I heard, they would be a bit closer, but McCool's are full value for this lead that they have in this match, and that was just that last attempt was Johnny McHugh, the sub on there, dragging his free way out to that right hand side and wide, and McCool's have it, and it's the first time I've kind of seen them. You can see even with the body language of the players, Martin, they know they can keep ball a small bit now, particularly when you have a spare man out around the top of the group. They're in no rush to put this attack on, but as it is, there's a free man inside, and he is Finian McGinty, who's been joining the attack a lot this last couple of minutes. He gives it inside to the very nippy inside forward line that McCool's have, and that was Kevin McCormick again. He's been a real live wire in there, Martin. You talk about the help to Gallen. He can win his own ball, and he knows where
he's very intelligent footballer, 2 feet, very intelligent. Sean Martin's an interesting player. I think that he could be good enough to step up to county football. Having watched him, I know he was in the squad, maybe the development squad. He definitely has helped him, and he definitely, looking at him there today, he's been very, very good, and he's physically able to bust out with the ball.
Yeah. Definitely one to watch, as we were saying before the game. And one man that is very hard to watch this evening is Oisín Gallen, because he is stepping in and stepping out and throwing sidesteps and really breaking the hearts of the Ardara defence. But that time his left-footed strike came out too far inside that near post and wide, and it's 117, plays 8 here. And as we were saying, myself and Martin, it's been a real statement game from this Sean McCool's side about where their aspirations lie in this championship, and from what I've seen of them, they certainly put it up to anybody that I've seen in the championship so far, and I've seen most of the teams out in action, and certainly this McCool's side, from what I've seen this evening, wouldn't fear anybody, and certainly can cause anyone a lot of problems. Very well coached by Gary Wilson and his crew in there, doing a sterling job. Kicker going out over the line. It's an Ardara ball. Klassen has it here, and a bit of respectability maybe in the final quarter of this game from Ardara is probably the most that they can hope for. McCool's still working hard to cut out possession. There's that kick pass inside. Malloy's come up the pitch again. Good tackling from McCool's. Unlucky to give away the foul, but good tackling again, 1-on-1. And there's that tackle again, Martin. And there is the difference. The McCool's men are getting in, they're getting hands, they're making it difficult, they're really tight on their men. Whereas when they break up the pitch, the Ardara defence just seem 2 or 3 yards off theirs. And with so many options up there, it's why the scoreboard looks the way it is, as Ardara trailed 117 to 8 points. McCool's now knowing that they have this game, and their grasp can kind of dictate the pace of it, even though they have been coming forward at all opportunities, and their movement has been solid. Their kick passing has been good, and again this man Gallen has been dancing about, orchestrating it all, and players 2 or 3 coming after him, converging to him, giving a cross to Jamie Keegan, who said it's a brilliant game as well. Got on a lot of ball for the McCool's men, and you just see now, if Ardara are going to sit now, McCool's, no, listen, we can pull you out, we can stretch you, we've got control of the scoreboard, you've got to come after us, which is going to leave gaps. And it's a hard thing to be doing, to be chasing the lead in the modern game now, because there's so much more space. And again, that 1v1 battle is the 2 number 12s. There's Conor McGinty coming across, he steps back inside, he hits from range, and that's another score. He must have just went inside the 2-point arc, Martin, but another fine score by McGinty.
That was a great score by McGinty, but he showed the pace. I think really the difference in the two teams is pace. McCool's have a lot of pace about their team, and again, it's important, and they can, they're able to break the tackle, and as you said, Brett, in the commentary, 1-to-1 situations, and making a difference. Number 21 for Ardara's just come on, and he had a run in with the number 11 for McCool's, and the two of them have picked up 2 yellow cards there. Don't think there were much in it, but he wanted to get in about the McCool's man, so they both picked up yellow cards.
Damien Devaney might have him too pumped up before he came in, and he came rushing on to have a go at Jamie Keegan, as I say, who's having a fine game in there.
See, Ardara taking 2 more subs on the far side as well. I think McCool's have taken on, I think it's number 18 has come on from McCool's as well. Brendan, you have the subs there.
Yeah, Sean McCool 21, Sean McMiniman is on the pitch for them. Sean McMiniman and for McCool's, as McCool's withdraw Conor Griffin from the full back. Then Ardara sent in a big target man inside there. If you turn around this, I'll see who it is when I get his number. But Ardara need to get their hands on the ball before they can deliver it in. They have two big
men in there now. Boy, there's like the famous day that Tyrone met Kerry with was it Kieran Dunny and Tommy Walsh inside, and they were going to put the ball in, and Mickey Hart pulled a real dream by putting the 2 McMahons back into the full back line.
Sinead Gallen wins that kick out, it drops short to him. He's got options. One of them is the number 12 inside, and he blasted Conor McGinty, and it looked like a foot block in there, right, Martin? And again, so many problems, so many space in there, but it was Gallen again orchestrating the attack there, and I think that was the right decision.
Yeah, it seemed to be. I don't think there's much arguments from there. Drop people either caught him, but there was a goal chance and he was going for a goal, and I think the foot caught him, right, as you said, Brendan, and Gallen's going to kick this penalty, and I don't know, will scoring averages might make a difference, I suppose, down the road. With they've got, what are they, 1-2, this will be their second one with a draw, isn't it, Brendan?
Yes,
so
right, 2-1
scoring average could make a difference to make the top 4 or whatever. So I take it he's going to go for a goal.
Drew with Glen Swilly, and today they're certainly in the driving seat, and does Gallen put the icing on the cake? He does. Brilliant penalty from Gallen, sending the keeper the wrong way. They already were 13 points up. They're now 16 points up, and it has been an absolute masterclass second half, because there was times in that first half, Martin, where the fight was there from Ardara. 12 minutes in, it was 5 each. You know, there wasn't a lot between the teams. McCool's looked more dangerous, but in the second half they've completely destroyed the Ardara defence.
Yeah, they seem to be in very, very good shape as well, you know, fitness-wise and everything else, Brendan. But yeah, it's an impressive second half. But it's good. We want teams competing. You know, people talk about Unions and Niamh Connell. We want teams competing with them. And you think that, you know, McCool's will be, you know, Gidor and McCool seem, you know, we saw some in the last 2 weeks in both of them that, you know, that impresses you. So, look, at hopefully, you know, we'll have good games down the road in the championship.
Everett coming in there, and again, it's the third drop short, and Malloy gets his hand to it, and the substitute Niall Crossan thumped that in. I think he was going for a point, Martin was crossing, but it came short, and as we often see with short kickouts or short attempts and goals, they can cause problems, because up at that point our Ardara had been outscored 2-8 to 2 points in the second half, but Malloy adding some small measure of respectability there, getting his hand to that, again showing the value of putting it in around the mixer.
But it's as well as that is if you look at it, the value of Conor Griffin was at full back. He was doing a very good job physically, and when Conor Griffin went off, they don't have that power in there. And I would take it they just took him off to nearly rest him and take it easy, but that was a brilliant ball, and it's it's a good, very, very good finish by CJ Malloy, but they'll need 2 or 3 of them, wouldn't they, Bren?
They would indeed, Martin, to I think at this point, we're on 21 and a half minutes. Yeah, and again, McCool's won that kick out, as they have the vast majority of these second half kicks, and this in possession is 9/10 of the law, and when McCool's have it, they have plenty of ball players and plenty of people who want to go and take the game on, take their opposite number on. They're passing, they're moving, and they've really been first class in all sectors here this evening. Been on another level to Ardara. And Gallen out here now. Malloy's come on in the second half. Maybe that's a move they needed to do in the first, but I don't know if anybody could have kept with them tonight. And again, even though there's a lot of Ardara jerseys around, it's a simple attempt to go by Conor McGinty, but he drags it to the left and wide. And again, the difference is, I think, because when they have their numbers back, they're getting tight, they're getting across people. But that was all too easy for McGinty to get his shot away, but it matters not, as Ardara completely in control on the scoreboard. Yeah,
just McCool's are running down the bench. They're taking on new players all the time. Number 4 just going off on the far side as well, Bren. But look at, they're just running down the bench, and they can afford to do that. And you want to keep, suppose your very good players in the kick out has been turned over here, has it?
Yeah. Aaron Kelly is on the pitch, as Martin was saying. He's in for Fiona McGinty. And as you say, McCool's have the luxury of resting players or even giving squad players all an opportunity. One man that doesn't want to come off is Gallen, because he is just unmarkable this evening. He's just moving with such pace and brilliance on the ball. And that time, on the few errors we've seen him make, he dropped the ball and Ardara gained possession and back. Great to see Gallen in that type of form. Ardara now looking to get it inside the danger man, but again, it's only into the sweeper. If you're going to put it in, you got to make it into that danger area, and that's how they got the last goal. Niall Crossan's shot dropping short. McGinty put it in the net, Malloy put it in the net, but that time straight into the grateful arms of the McCool sweeper. They're coming up this left hand side here. Cian Mulligan on the ball, giving it across to Sean Martin. Joining the attack is Luke Capigan, the captain. He drops it in to who else but Gallen. This time there's 2 men round him. The ball squirms away again. But McCool's again getting round 3. Lucky enough to get that free out. They tap and go and they're away again. Looking to put some kind of shine into this performance. And it's the substitute Niall Crossan combining with Kyle McHugh. But McCool's turn it over. Great tackling as ever from the McCool's men. And Cian Mulligan coming out with that ball. He's giving it across to Conor McGinty. And again, Sean McMenamin, one of the substitutes in, has the ball. He gives it to Conor McGinty and it's a foul to McCool's. And again, full of running here, McCool's. Rory Mulligan on the ball. Another one of the men sent in. And McCool's realising they can just play down the clock now. That there's no
That's it, Brendan. And I think they've the right, as you said, when the first ball into CG, goal given away. What happens? The captain, Luke Gavigan, makes a decision to go back and mark CG himself for the physical power because Conor Griffin was off.
Yeah. So, yeah, a happy man is Gary Wilson. That's a heavy tackle coming in. The ref's allowing the advantage back to Gallen. He knows he can have a shot to nothing. He gets underneath it. Does it go over the bar? It does indeed. Heavy knock taken there in the corner by the McCool's man, and the ref waved play on, and Gallen adding to his account. Martin was saying, yes, it's a nice place to be where you're playing the advantage and you can have a free shot.
Yeah, exactly. It could be Keegan McCormick that's injured. He would be a big blow to them if it was him that's down injured, you know. Yeah. He could have got a dead leg, but he's up anyway and he's about, and there's a yellow card given to the Ardara player, but he's brave wee boy. He wasn't, he went in when it hurt, and when you're small in the modern game you got to be brave, because otherwise, but he would be a loss because he's had, as you said earlier on, Brendan, he's had a big game today.
He has. This ball coming out, it's won by Ardara, and again McCool's with extra men there. In most places in the pitch they seem to have more bodies more often than not. I'm sure Gary Wilson must be very happy with the performance of his team. We might get speaking to him or Oisin Gallen after the game to get a better reaction.
Yeah.
Right, we're down to the last couple of minutes. There's been a high ball in again, touched over the bar. That's a kind of danger balls in. You need, it's John Ross Malloy, and it bounces over the bar. That score will go down to him, putting the Ardara score line up to 1.
The Kyle McHugh, the number 11 for Ardara, he's not a bad player, Brendan. He kicked a very good 2-point to the first half. He's after one on a big ball in the air there. Just looking at him, he's battling away, and there seemed to be a lot of good football in him. Hey, looking at him there, it's good to see him catching that ball. The ball came out at him, he caught it. So,
who would be, Martin, your Donegal GATV man of the match? If you what?
Listen, it has to be Oisin Gallen, I suppose. There's no
argument there.
There've been other good performances by McCool's players, but But Gallen was the man. Luke Gavigan, I thought, had a great set. Sorry, Sean Martin had a great, good game. All McCool's, you could say. Then you go to Farley and Jimmy Keegan at Farley. Then Conor McGinty kicked a couple of good scores. Kevin McCormick's had a very good game. Yes. And then Gallen, of course, was the, just every time he touches the ball, it means he's causing trouble, whether it's a score or not or whatever it is, And that's interesting. That free, he took back the free because it was a 2-pointer. So he didn't give the point that the goalie knocked over the bar, and then he took it back for the 2-pointer, which is fair enough. And now they've got, I think, a 2-pointer out of it now. So that's fair play. Good refereeing by Anthony McCulloch.
Good kick, as you said. Well done, Anthony McCulloch, again, for refereeing this evening. Not an easy job. We've got to always be patient with the refs. I know it's difficult at times, but certainly he's doing his best out there. He's had a good game, and a game which McCool's have controlled, and their star man of the match is the one and only Oisin Gallen, who has been in tip-top form this evening. And as I say, we'll get speaking to himself or the McCool's manager after the match. A match which is coming now close to finishing. We're almost up to 29 minutes, and in the first half, where we thought there could be something, there was only 4 points in it at half time. Let's say the Tides were level, 5 each on 12 minutes. They went in at half time 10-6 down, and you thought, was there going to be a rally? but there was a complete takeover from this McCool's team.
Yeah, very good second half. I mean, they just, fairness, they're only 4 points, was it up at half time, Brendan, but they came out the second half and they just said it's just another score by Oisin Gallen, who else from the free. But I think that, they came out the second half and they really were impressive. And I was very impressed with the ability, the way there's, Gary Wilson very well set up, the way they're set up, and Ardara can't get away a short kick out, and McCool's are able to win the kick outs, and they've, as you said, a lot of very, very good performances.
Yeah, yes indeed. Be a happy man going in to the pot for the next day out. I'll be very interested to see who they come up against this McCool's side. That's a direct ball inside, that danger ball we're talking about. Big Malloy has it, but again the numbers are back. You have 1, 2, 3, 4, 6 McCool's men against 2 Ardara by the time that shot was kicked, and it was dragged wide by Niall Crossan, who got that last 2-pointer as we're closing into the last seconds of normal time. We'll wait and see what's to be added on here, Martin.
I don't think there'll be much added on, will there?
Yeah, I think with the rest
double scores at the minute, 220 to 110, so
yeah.
I expect.
I'd say our boys will be happy enough to hear this final whistle, because it's been a very tough second half for them. They're still fighting on, but again, because winning the kick out, Fenton Griffin it was.
That's stupid. That's very stupid there by number 7. Griffin, is it Fenton Griffin? Yes. He did pull out the kick, and I take it the referee. He's going to talk the ball. He's not going to send him offering, but he's a wee bit lucky, Brendan. Yeah. It was stupid what he did. Had one in a game.
Malloy had a wee paw on him, and then he kind of reacted to that a small bit. But you're right. No point in reacting when you're way ahead like that, risking a potential card. Gallen has it. He's like a slalom skier there at times, Martin, the way he goes in and out. He just
massive balance for a footballer, hasn't he? I mean, it's great, the balance that he has.
It's a lovely score there, Martin, coming in from right out the right hand side. A brilliant 2-pointer from Conor McGinty, really icing on the kick stuff there from McGinty. But again, it was Gallen who was weaving and bobbing. He gives it back to McGinty with outside the right, but beautiful curling score.
Isn't balance a big thing for a footballer, to have that balance, the right balance, that you can go either side and chip up the wall. Here's another high ball going in.
Yeah, it was that direct ball inside, and it was won by Malloy. Malloy transferring it back, and the two twin tears in there of himself and Niall Crossan, conjuring up a half-goal opportunity. But again, the numbers back and the numbers count for McCool's, and even though there's that huge height advantage in there, if you get numbers around, you will snuff out the challenge, even if you don't win the first ball. But the referee had judged that Niall was fouled. It seemed a small bit fortunate, but I guess sometimes you'll get them wee decisions when you're so far behind on the scoreboard, and it's another point for Ardara, bringing them up to 111. And 111's not going to win you a lot of games in the modern way of playing, but certainly conceding 222. So we've ended up with exactly double scores here on this game, Martin, and it's no more than Sean McCool's deserve, as we just wait to see how much time is left. That kick out not clearing. Clearing everybody, but going out over the line.
Yeah, it didn't go out past the 20-metre line, but yes. I think it's the first mistake that Owen Gallen has made today, isn't it? Really, his kick-outs have been very, very good today, but that's just the refs given.
You need all aspects of your game, right, Martin? They need to be right on it. Your kick-outs, your fitness, you need your forward, you need your defensive shape. Whether you go zonal or tag, the way, we've seen Kerry do so successfully in All-Ireland final, you need to work on that night after night after night after night, and you can see that with this McCool side, very well drilled.
Yeah, and in fairness to him as well, there, he's taking it. He's taking it back outside, going for a 2-pointer now, because the free was taken in by the referee. So he's going now for a 2-pointer, Brendan's most scoring average could come into it for Ardara. What are they, 2 points? The one next week, they have 4, so could come into it where where you end up in the league or whatever. And that's a great kick.
Yeah, come inside.
That's a good decision that young Crossan has made twice,
yes.
Taking the ball outside the 20 to outside the the whatever the 30-metre line or 40-metre line to kick the 2-pointers, which can make a difference in the long run, with scoring average.
Yeah, indeed, it could come down to that. I know we don't think about it too much at these times, but certainly if you ended up in a relegation playoff, it can come down to such things and scoring difference in terms of trying to get to the next level to qualify. All these things can count at the end of it, but at the end of this, the ref has blown the whistle, and Anthony McCulloch has said enough is enough. And I'd say the Ardara men are glad that whistle's going. They've been defeated here by Cumhaills on a scoreline of Ardara 113, Cumhaills 222. Martin, and listen, we've been rounding it up for the last few minutes anyway, because when a game is like that, that's all you're left with is those talking points. But as I say, a very happy man, Gary Wilson, will be this evening, and certainly, Martin, from what we've seen so far in the championship, this McCool's side wouldn't fear anybody.
Well, and the other thing, suppose you want to see them, I know the Glenswally one was a big one, but as you said, they were 15 points ahead of Glenswally and end up only drawing the match. Doesn't mind that, but they definitely have improved their defence since that. So the Gary Wilson, the management team, have worked on their defence, because their defence today were very, very solid. Now, I thought Conor Griffin going off made a difference, because CG then caused problems inside, but they finished off the game, which is a good sign of a team. They came out the start of the second half and just finished the game off, and then when they got the goal, then that really finished it. But they're very impressive, and they're going into the dressing room here below. So look, it's a good big victory for them, a good victory for them, very impressive considering Ardara's two performances to date. They beat Rua very, very well in the first game, I think, here, and then they could have got a draw at least against Niamh Connell, so they'll be very, very happy.
Does that ask questions of Niamh Connell, thinking no disrespect to Ardara, because they did beat what we've seen here this evening, because we're really on another level. Is Niamh Connell a bit slow at the box this year?
Maybe the Niamh Connell thing, I know that they hadn't Kieran Thompson playing, but maybe the Niamh Connell thing is, with the new game, the pace is a big thing, and we see a lot of pace. Like, this team did cause trouble for Ardara with pace. Now, would Niamh Connell have the same pace? They probably should have a fair amount of pace about their team, but pace is a big thing, and the new rules and everything else. But it was impressive, McCool's team, but I think maybe Niamh Connell, sometimes they're not up for it early on, and even competition and everything else, they wouldn't be up for that much, but they'll still be one of the teams to beat down the road. But
once
this the McCool's team are impressive enough now. You'd like to see them play St. Eunan's or Niamh Connell at a stage, McCool's, just to see where they're at. But they were impressive, and I see Luke Gavin come over here to talk to the chairman. I think PG McGowan and his wife Anne down below us, and chatting to the two Malloys, Connie and Frank here. But I think that I was impressed because Sean Martin is 6 is a big player for them, the way he drives forward. And they're very, very solid in the middle of the field with Luke Gavin and Joe Boyle. Put in a lot of work, a lot of good work. And then you have, we talked about Jamie Keegan, Conor McGinty, Kevin McCormick, Oisin Gallen. Marty Riley does a job in there, gets on ball, lays it off. They do the work for Gallen, they leave the space for Gallen, and he draws the players and they get the runners too. But as we said, the defence is very good. I was impressed with Conor Griffin while he was on the field and everything else. Owen Gallen didn't make a mistake. So look at all round, we're going to get a bigger test for them down the road. But they expected, down here, coming to Ardara was always a hard place to come to, as you said earlier on the commentary, and that's an impressive victory, because really the game was over 10 minutes into the second half, and they could have had the game over. They could have actually had the game over at half time. So that's impressive. The manager's here now, so you can do the job of interviewing Gary Wilson here.
Yeah, that was the voice of Martin McHugh. Martin, thanks so much for joining us here this evening on this broadcast of Donegal GA and this very impressive performance of Cumhaills. And after the break, I'm going to talk with their manager. He has joined us up here on the commentary box, but we're going to take a wee break. First we are, and then we'll be back to hear the thoughts of Gary Wilson. Callum Millie, he's got the ball in, he comes inside the arc, he pops the ball away, and how is that for a start from Ardara? He's shown there by Kevin McCormick, comes back to that man Oisin Callan, the dummy stepping inside on that trusty right foot. Is that the equalising score? What else would it be, Martin? That get away from his marker who has come in late. It's Joe Millie wearing number 17, but Gallen has got away from him again, and the danger man Martin has kept attention to him, as Martin mentioned might happen. That ball comes across to Sean Martin. Martin with a strike. And Sean Martin, I tell you what, he knows where the post is.
Going to have a big battle with him, Conor, but that ball went in to CJ Malloy.
Scoring area, but he's worked it across inside. Ardara have another opportunity, and it's that man, it's that man Kevin McCormick have the kick out. They're breaking in the round, they're getting around the Ardara defence a lot more simpler than Ardara against them. And again, it's back to the previous point score. This time it's on the left, and Kevin McCormick's one in the midfield ball. He gave it to Paddy McGrath, and now we're inside. Could this be the first 2-pointer of the game? He unloads. It's Kyle McHugh on the left foot. What a break at them. He gets on to the left. Is it going to drop short? It is. Out comes Gallen. He's fisted away. It comes back, and that was KJ Malloy. That man again, Gallen on the ball. He twists one way, twists another.
Some score.
And he curls the ball over the bar with ease. And Danny Walsh couldn't do much about it, man, but he's happy enough to play on.
Yeah, I think maybe Gallen was a wee bit frustrated and he threw his feet up in the air a wee bit, Brendan, after he was gun the foul.
And again, off the shoulder comes that raiding man in terms of Sean Martin. Wilson, Gary, brilliant performance from your side, particularly in that second half. 10 points in the first half, but brilliant 2-12 in the second half. You must be happy with how the game went.
Okay, overall delighted, Brendan, just to get the result more than anything. Sometimes, yourself, if you get 2 points with a bad performance or 2 points with a good performance, still 2 points, in the grand scheme of the structure that it is. But look, overall, yeah, we're happy with the performance. I think in the first 2 games we would have been kind of kicking ourselves a wee bit. We probably the games in the bag and a wee bit of composure, a wee bit of game management, as they say. We could have probably had 4 points on the board coming down here versus 3. So we'd focused it heavily on that. And I think we have to be very aware too of the players that we're asking to manage the game for us. Oshin's kind of trapped inside, and so is Martin. So you're putting a lot of onus on the likes of Sean Martin and Connor and Finn. A lot of them men aren't even over 20 yet, so you're sort of, I suppose, tasking young men with, I suppose, big really leadership roles. And I think tonight they really showed their capacity they can go and do this, and that's what's really important in senior championship, is recognising moments where we've got to go for the jugular here, and recognise moments, we need to take a sting out of this game and manage this for a period of time, maybe the other team's on top or whatever. So I think overall, performance-wise, we've been very, very pleased.
Yeah, a couple of big leads in those 2 games previous. You came here tonight, I was just looking after 12 minutes, it was 5 each, and the game was to and fro, and small bit of a lead at half time, 10-6, and you thought maybe the home team would come after you, but I thought in that second half, Gary, your defensive shape, you always had spare men, you always had at least 2 sweepers, maybe 3 at times to nullify their attack. Your tackling was bang on, and when you got the ball in, you drove forward at pace, and it seemed like you had runners coming from all over. So a huge work in the background in terms of shape, your tactical setup, but then that real energy of players breaking off, and you say Oisín was a jewel in the crown, but you had players coming from all over the pitch.
Yeah, and look, we're blessed and essentially in the club, and it's a real blessing for the club. I see Luke Gavigan down there, captain of the county under-20 team. Sean's captain of the county under-20. Connor's been in there. Finn's been in the minors. Oisín's Oisín. And we should have probably 1 or 2 other fellas in there that have been representing on teams, and for one reason or another just maybe haven't gotten there. So we do have players that can hurt you from all angles, and we have a lovely sprinkling of youth. And with that, as Brendan, that's full of legs. It's not like us. We're a bit slower.
but crocked.
But we have put a huge emphasis on the coaching, and you're always trying to find that balance of, the technical side and the tactical side. So we have put a huge emphasis on our defensive shape, because, I know it's a cliche, but defence wins championships, and forwards kind of win games. But we have placed a huge emphasis, and we have tried to tap into things that we know are our strengths. And we've tried to lean into things that Oisín can help us with, and he's a really, really great ambassador in terms of for us as a club. He comes back and he's nearly like a second coach, and he's demanding of them, and he's, like you would say, we had good shape tonight. He could be down there saying we had poor shape, because he's just holding them to a higher standard, and that's what we want as a club, and that's the only way we're going to, I suppose, get on top, to succeed and lift silverware. So yeah, look, we'd have been pleased with our defensive shape. We'd have been pleased in transition. There's still some things we could have tidied up, but sure, look, that's football. Yeah.
Just and last question, Chief. Speaking of silverware, there's only one game in town now. It's the championship, and I know it's always one game at a time, Gary. But just looking at you this evening and looking at everybody else I've seen there's no reason for this Cumhaills team to fear anybody. I know you're in there 3 years now. You're a coach the last 2 years, a manager. You have that continuity. You're really building a powerful squad here.
I think we're always building, like I do a lot of work with the coaching officer as well in the club, so I'm always very aware of what's coming behind, and it's going to take time. Might be a wee bit too soon this year. I still think it'll come down to the Unions and the Glenties. They will come to the fore in time, and it's always the way. Gidor won't be far away. I think it might be a wee bit too early for us at this moment. I think we'll certainly be in the mix in a sense of we'll give teams a game. But I think it just might come a wee bit too early for us this time this year. But look, every game's a game, and we'll give it our best, and with Oisín up front and Kevin and Jimmy, we'll give teams their own headaches, as well.
You certainly will, Gary. Thanks for joining us up here this evening. Much
appreciated.
Appreciate it. That was Gary Wilson there, wrapping up the show this evening here from Pearsville Road Park, where we've seen a brilliant performance from the men from Cumhaills, winning by 222 to 113. Join us tomorrow and for the rest of the championship. For all the best in Donegal GA here on Donegal GA TV. We'll chat to you soon.
At Michael Murphy Sports and Leisure, we cater for everyone, from top sporting athletes to relaxed casual sporting individuals and everyone in between. We also provide a large range of teamwear services and cater for schools and clubs. Orders can be customised to your specification to suit your individual needs. From clothing to equipment, we've got you covered.